Well, hello, Cougar fans. Welcome again to Zoom In with the Cougs, BYU Football edition this afternoon. I am Greg Wrubell, your voice of the Cougars, and with us on this afternoon's call, head coach Kalani Sitake, offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes, defensive coordinator Elisa Tuiaki. We'll soon be seeing tight end Matt Bushman, and we have a linebacker Isaiah Kofusi with us as well. Great to see so many of you already on the call. A ton of you are with us, and we'll be getting to questions shortly. Now, you're going to not see yourselves on the screens, the fans out there. You'll only see the coaches and the players and your moderator, which is me. At the bottom of your screen, though, you'll see that the Q&A icon. Disregard the chat icon. We're not going to use chat today, but we are going to use the Q&A icon. So click on Q&A, and you can then text in questions for the coaches and the players, and we'll answer a number of your questions during this session. And if your question is for a particular player or coach, just be sure to mention that person in your question, and we'll put it to that player or coach. And let's kick off our Zoom call by saying hello to all of our participants and asking them each two simple questions. Here are the two questions. Where are you and how are you? And we'll start with Coach Sitake.
What's up, Cougars? Just want to say thank you. It's good to be on Zooming with the Cougs. I'm at home in the dining room / my office because my kids took over my office and they're doing homework in my office right now. So, yeah, I'm here hanging out with the family. Just excited to get on with you guys and answer any questions. And I'm excited to see, Isaiah and Elisa and Grimy, and also Bushman will be on here soon. And good to see you, Greg. So that's what I'm up to.
Coach Grimes.
Here at the office, as you can probably see behind me, I got one of our game plan boards behind us, behind my head here. Just in town, came back, been in Idaho for a week with the family, and just doing great. Been trying to make the most of this time and had some great family time. And then we've been having some really cool meetings with our players as well via Zoom. So really kind of enjoying this time.
Anybody who follows you on social media notices that you look a little different today than you did even just yesterday. What's going on there?
Just decided it might be good to kind of clean myself up a little bit. It kind of feels strange, I got to be honest with you.
And you basically had the quarantine beard going since I think things kind of shut down, right?
Yeah, since the last time I was sitting in this seat right here, Thursday practice, we were getting ready. It was going to be practice number 7, and then things got shut down. And I said at that moment, I'm not shaving again until I have to. So this morning was the day.
Looking good. Coach Tuiaki, where are you and how are you?
What's up, Cougs? Thanks for tuning in. I'm right next door to Grimy right now. I'm in the defensive staff room. He's in the offensive staff room. And things have been good. I think that I don't really know what's going on as far as getting back to work, but I'm really excited about just the coming back. I wasn't going to shave until the kids were allowed to come back into the weight room. But, I figured along with Grimy, it'd be a good time to just shave and it starts to feel a little bit more normal after I shave. That work might be coming up here pretty soon.
Okay, to Isaiah Kofusi. We expect Matt Bushman shortly, by the way. He'll be getting with us momentarily. Isaiah, it looks like you're at home. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm just at home in Utah County. My son just turned 1 year old, and so I had a little birthday party for him and just trying to keep him entertained, man. He's learned how to walk in quarantine, and he's just getting into cabinets and cupboards and just making a mess of the house. But we're having a lot of fun. We're loving the family time for sure, but ready to get back at it.
Good to see you. Good to see you all. And we'll get to fan questions, a bunch of them here coming up in a bit. First up, Kalani, for those who may not be familiar with football team can do right now, what's the NCAA allowing you as a program to do with your team on a weekly basis, let's say?
Well, a couple weeks back, the NCAA allowed us to meet with the players and actually talk football. Before that, it was April 25th, but before that date, it was more just checking in with them, and we could talk academics, and that's the limit, And we're always going to be compliant with the NCAA rules, and so we kept to that. since that day, though, we've met with the players on Zoom, and then we've had the players. We've given them some homework. We let them finish finals, but we've given them some assignments and things to do, more position wise, and letting them get ready for the season, and kind of trying to wrap up as much as we could with spring ball, and trying to focus on the details of their assignments and things like that. I know the offensive defense has been really busy. Talking to alumni, we've had a lot of guest speakers, former alumni speak with our players and just keep them motivated and everything. I've been really pleased with the way our players have conducted themselves and ran their workouts. So it's just been amazing with our strength coaches. I know that some people have asked before, but our strength coach has been able to be in touch with our players and help them in the workouts through this time. And it's been really cool because talking to our strength coach, they feel really confident with the guys that have connected with them on every day, just trying to make sure that they're getting their fitness level right and that they're doing all the correct things as much as they can do without having a weight room. So we have responsible young men, and I'm so honored to be their coach and just really proud of the things that they've done during this time and the fact that they're connecting with family, but also making sure that they're serving others as much as they can. So it's been really cool.
And one of those young men has just popped on with us. So Matt Bushman is with us now. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I think I got a fan link because I was watching you guys. I just couldn't say anything.
Well, now you're with us.
One I was asking questions.
Yeah, Matt has entered the chat, as it were. Let's have this go to the two coordinators and then to Isaiah and Matt. We talk a lot about remote learning when it comes to like just regular classes at BYU. What kind of remote learning is being done from players, from coaches to players and player to player, kind of peer learning? What's actually being done on, say, a daily basis where learning is actually getting done and coaching is actually getting done? Maybe coaches Grimes and Tuiaki, and then we'll hear from Matt and Isaiah on that.
Yeah, I think a little bit of all that, Greg. Just like the rest of the world's doing right now, we're just learning how to communicate a little bit differently. And I'm really honestly excited about what's going on. The level of interaction that I'm seeing from our coaches and players, as Kalani mentioned, some of the former players, NFL guys that we've had jump on and share with our guys and try to give them some tips and how to improve their game, particularly right now because those guys understand how to work on their own a little bit more. But I'm really excited about it. And there have been all sorts of meetings like you're talking about. Some of it players, some of it player led, some of it coach led, some of it small groups, some of it one-on-one, one coach with one player, some of it one position group, sometimes the entire offense working together, listening to a message. So it's been a little bit of all of that. And, I'm hopeful that at the end of this, we're going to come out even better than we were before, just from being forced to learn in a different way.
Coach E.
Yeah, no, all that stuff that Graham was talking about, very, very similar on defense. It's been really good for us. One of the things that we started to implement, or Coach Sitake started to implement with spring ball for us, was we went in with the flipped classroom model and, didn't know that it was going to end up being something that we used exclusively because of the quarantine. And it's been really good for us to kind of go into the quarantine with ideas that we've already had from flipping the classroom in the 2 weeks that we had spring ball and continuing to do different things with the players. But, for us on defense, the personalities as well as just what we do for each position group is a little bit different. And so it's allowed, each of the position coaches to have a little bit more freedom with the things that they wanted to try in order to get messages across to their players and just do different things to keep it fresh and just keep it moving throughout this quarantine. So it has been interesting, but it's been fun as well.
How about Matt and Isaiah in terms of that whole remote learning concept right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been interesting just not being with the guys. Usually this time is a big chemistry builder where you're working out in the weight room, you're doing conditioning, you're doing player run practices. So not being able to do that has been interesting, but finding ways, just having self-motivation and being able to get with a few guys has been really, I've really liked it. And I think it's been really beneficial. I mean, if the guys want to put in the work, they're going to find ways to personally get stronger, better. So I thought it's been really beneficial for me, and I've really enjoyed this time. But I agree with what the coaches were saying. I think we can just turn this into a blessing for us, and we can come back stronger than we have been in the past years.
Yeah, I agree with Matt, and kind of what Coach Grimes was saying is we've had some, coaches have brought in some ex-former players and just people to kind of speak to us as a position group and as an offense or a defense. Specifically the linebackers, Kalani, had asked Rob Morris to come talk to us. And so we were able to just, sit down with Rob and he just kind of told us his story and kind of was just giving us some guidance, some direction, and just being able to pick his brain and just kind of hear from him was one of the coolest things. And so, we're finding different ways to learn and kind of better ourselves. They're not really the traditional ways that we've seen, but we're just trying to do the best that we can to better ourselves. I've been able to work out with Matt and in smaller groups, and we've just, been able to still kind of bond with each other and build some chemistry. But definitely is a strange time, but I think it's going to be beneficial. The things that we're doing are for sure beneficial for us. So.
Hey guys, thanks to all of you for that. To our fans joining us now on the Zoom call, and by the way, you go to the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, click on that, you can text in a question. We'll start with a question from Bronx Webb, and we'll ask all four of you this. What's been your favorite BYU win so far? Favorite BYU win? We'll start with the head coach and then go coordinators and players.
Well, I don't know if I have a favorite because I love them all, but anytime you get the fans on the field, it's hard to not choose any of those. So since I've been here, anytime that they've been on the field, trying to steal my hat. I've had it's hard because this becomes I have to protect my lucky hat and stuff like that, especially in those circumstances. But anytime I can be around the fans, and especially this, I just miss seeing everybody, and so. Hopefully we can get those moments and get a lot of the fans on the field. For me, it's just anytime. I don't know what games there would be. Greg, you would probably know better than I do, but anytime they're around and I can hug them, that's what I like the most.
E.
Wisconsin for me. That was the atmosphere, the venue, what was at stake going against a team like that, but also just the physicality of the game and coming out on top was never going to forget that game. That was definitely for me, and the time that I've been here, the funnest game.
Coach Grimes?
Well, I would say two. My first time when I was here 04 to 06, I'd have to say our win over Utah, the Johnny Harline catch right at the end of the game. That was pretty hard to top. And then since I've been back this time, man, there have been several, but really proud of that win against USC last year. I thought that was a big win against a talented team. And so, like Kalani said, there are several that jump in my mind right away, but I'd mention those two.
Okay, Isaiah and Matt.
Yeah, I think along with Coach Tuiaki, I think, Wisconsin was kind of my first big game that I'd been a part of, and was a memorable game and one that I won't forget. And also Tennessee, I think, was to play in front of, the 100,000 fans and to see the section of blue go all the way to the top and see the royal blue, in the stadium that was awesome to see. And to come out on top, to get a win in Knoxville or in Tennessee was one of the coolest things I think that I've been a part of.
Oh, Matt's,
Sorry, I was on mute. I was on mute, but I would say just those big time home games that we won last year, like USC and Boise State. Boise State in particular, just because the weather was so crazy, and I don't know, it was such a fun game. It was like the worst weather conditions, and then coming out on top and just having the fans stick through that was a surreal moment. And USC, just beating a team like that you kind of look up to as a kid and taking them down, and then having the fans rush the field. It was just, both of those were really fun games.
Yeah, I did a basketball Zoom earlier, and Gavin Baxter still had a beard on. He had trimmed it, but he still had the beard on. And I guess this fan may have just missed the start of the show, but Kellen Knight asks Coach Grimes, why did you shave that glorious beard?
I was supposed to.
This might have had something to do with it. I don't even know. But either way, you're looking good either way. Let's go to this one from Jack Paul Freeman. He said this question's for all you all. Your favorite NFL player. Start players on this one. Matt and then Isaiah.
That's a good question. Favorite NFL player? I don't want to cause family drama, I guess. My father-in-law's got to be one of the top ones, just Chad Lewis. As a kid, I didn't really watch him or anything like that, but it's just learning his story's been cool. But I really respect and like Drew Brees. I'm a Saints fan, so I've always, the past few years, really liked his game and just what he's done. So Drew Brees is definitely one of my fans and idols.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think of who my favorite player is. I kind of have a lot. There's a lot of people I admire. I really admire Ray Lewis. I think he was not a current player, but one of my favorite NFL players of all time. Just really enjoyed his passion and the way he played the game and his physicality. So.
And can coaches have favorite NFL players? I think so. Jeff, how about you?
I don't know if I have a favorite current player. I've got a few guys that played for me that are playing in the league right now. And so at the risk of leaving somebody out, I'll mention a former NFL player who played here at BYU, John Tate. Loved the way he played the game, and he came on a Zoom meeting with the offensive line this past week and did a phenomenal job. And so I gained a newfound respect, even more so than what I had for him already after that.
Great call. Love it. Elisa, how about you?
Yeah, once you start coaching, you start getting players that trickle through and end up in the league. Especially for all of us coaches that have been in different institutions. I mean, it's hard not to cheer for every single one of the kids whose lives you've been involved with. And so I've got so many players in the NFL that I follow. Just even kids that were just on teams that I was on that I didn't coach but played different positions. And so I grew up a big Barry Sanders fan, and I've been, I had tons of Barry Sanders jerseys, and that's like my favorite player of all time. But now as a coach, I really just follow and cheer for all the kids that whose lives I've been involved with.
Coach Sitake.
My favorite players are all former Cougs. So right now, currently, it's all the guys that play. Fred Warner, Dirty Dan, Taysom, Jamal, all those guys, Harvey, everyone that's in the league now. But when I was a kid, I loved all the BYU football players that played. But the one guy that wasn't a BYU guy that I would have to say was Earl Campbell. Why I wore 34. So I just love the way he ran the ball. I thought that he just liked running through people. I thought that was the best way to play football. Little did I know that was targeting every time he ran. So whatever.
We'll see how this year's free agents do. And we also want to shout out Kyle Van Noy, Michael Davis. BYU's got a good group of guys out there. We'll have this go for our two players here, Isaiah and Matt Bushman from Kyler Kennedy. What are the best drills for an outside linebacker and a tight end?
Yeah, the best drills. I think Kalani, honestly, he always is funny with his drills. It's very simple. It's nothing really complex. We do a lot of footwork drills, I think, as a linebacker, and kind of for looking back at myself and self-evaluating, footwork is probably one of the biggest things. So anytime you can have a ladder or some cones that you can do any kind of footwork drills with, it kind of being in good body position and kind of the root of being a good linebacker starts with your footwork. So is that good, Coach?
I'd say for a tight end, just some of the main drills, anything where you're just catching the ball. The more comfortable you are with catching the ball and with your hands, that'll just put you up like another level. And you just have to be able to have good ball catching ability. So just running routes, getting with quarterbacks, have your dad throw balls to you, any of that. But also, I think for most tight ends that are learning to play, that we're kind of like learning to play tight end and developing, blocking is definitely a big thing. And I wish I would have done more drills in high school and just growing up, because once I got to college, I had to definitely put a lot of that into practice and learn the techniques. And I just wish I would have had a head start on that. So get as much blocking as you can, just that technique and just the steps. Like Isaiah was saying, the steps are really, really important at the collegiate level. So yeah, some of that stuff is really good.
Okay, let's stick with the players for this one. From Kara Hamilton, who asks on our Q&A icon, which team are you most excited to hopefully play against this fall?
Asking anybody?
I mean, if it's for the players, I'd say Utah. I've gone 0-3 against them, and I'm really looking forward to playing them my senior year. And yeah, I just want to come out on top and show those guys what we're really made of.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully we can play every team on our schedule. I just look forward to playing football in general, but definitely there's a circle around the first game, and hoping to play that one for sure. So.
Okay, let's get back to the coaches for this one. How's BYU, this is from Jason Sainsbury, how's BYU doing on injuries as it stands right now? And maybe from offense and defense, the two coordinators, maybe don't want to take a run at this in terms of health of your particular units right now and how you expect to be in the fall?
Sounds like a good head coach question.
Kalani, you want to take a run at that?
I'm going to delegate it to my defense and offensive coordinator. I'm right in the middle trying to hydrate with my BYU flask here.
Yeah, we're defensively we're pretty healthy, but we're getting guys back that didn't play last year that we're really excited about. Some of those guys that started to participate in spring ball, really particularly the DBs. Getting Keenan Ellis and Chris Wilcox and Troy Warner and some of those other DBs that are coming in, and so we're excited about getting a little bit more depth there. But I think that we're fairly healthy on defense.
I'd say the same thing on offense. We've had a few guys that have had some injuries, had some surgeries, and are working their way back from that. Just lingering things from the fall that you would expect. Anyone that had a surgery was still working through that this spring. So Sione Finau's knee, Hank Tuipulotu's knee, Joe Tukuafu's foot, and two or three other guys that had surgeries. And so maybe this has been a blessing in disguise for those guys to have a little additional time off. But I anticipate we'll have everybody back by the time the season rolls around.
Okay, thanks, guys. From Blake P., this one goes to Kalani, who is now fully hydrated and is ready to answer this question. Kalani, your main goal, if you could pick one when you are recruiting?
We get the best athletes here that are a great fit for the university to represent the Lord's University. I think it's important that they fit. And then there's already a system in place where they have to fit academically and they have to fit with their lifestyle. But I think also guys that are great teammates that would care about others. I know there's a lot of great LDS young men out there that could fit the profile, and we're trying to get the best here. And then also there's a good number of non-member players that we've signed that are excited about putting just representing the Savior Jesus Christ. And I think that's a platform. That's something that we're trying to elevate in our recruiting, is that we use the honor code academics and the fact that we are a spiritual institution, that we're a religious institution, and we represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm just really proud of all our coaches and our players that represent, whether they're a member or not.
Okay, thanks, Kalani. Before we get to a little bit of film work, from Sammy Jacobs. Well, I got two for Coach Grimes here. Sammy Jacobs says, can we all agree that when Coach Grimes has his glasses and mustache going, he looks kind of like Commissioner Gordon from Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy? Are you familiar, Jeff, and does that resonate with you at all?
Somewhat familiar. Sure, if you like him, then I'm all for it.
He cuts a handsome figure. And secondly, for Coach Grimes, what's your favorite place to go fishing in Utah? That's from John Geilman.
Anywhere they're biting, but Provo River is always a good bet.
Yeah, I do want to get to some film work. Thank you, Coach. But Matt gets a question in from Jason. Matt, what advice are you giving to other players since your decision to return back to the Cougars for one more year?
I don't know. You want to. That's as a player, I just think you want to make the biggest impacts that you can. So just don't take it for granted. It's a blessing to play at BYU, and it's a blessing to get an education at BYU too. So just give it your all. The 4 years come and go pretty quick. I mean, you don't really expect coming years going through the motion, through the season, everything. It comes up quick. And when I was making that decision on coming back, it was definitely, I want to be with the guys. I want to make a bigger impact. I want to win more than 7 games, and I want to see our team be great. So I just think any advice, I guess, is just to do all you can with the short time at BYU that we have and make the most of it.
Okay, thanks, Matt. With both of the coordinators on the call, we've got a great chance to do a little bit of a film review today with the fans. Let's start with Coach Tuiaki, and then we'll bring it over to Coach Grimes. Coach Tuiaki, I think we're going to do is maybe hit all 3 levels of your defense and maybe highlight some of the playmakers we can look forward to watching in the fall. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. I put together a little small cut up just to talk about a couple guys, but as I was starting to go through the list, I mean, there's so many guys that were not on there. They're definitely contributors, and it really, as I was putting together this cut up, I realized even more just how many contributors we have on defense that I wanted to try to put a clip for and just highlight, but wanted to keep the cut up to about 8 to 10 plays. And so we left a lot of guys out, but I mean, in the backer group, just before we start showing some of the clips of some of the guys, I mean, Peyton Wilgar was out sick for spring ball before it got cut short, just with the flu. And, we know the name, and he's going to be a guy that's exciting to watch. Obviously, Isaac Ofusi that's on the call with us today. And, Ben Bywater is another guy that a lot of people have been asking about, and Ben's going to be a good player for us as well. We've given different guys an opportunity to learn different positions, and so we haven't locked in on where they're going to end up playing. Max Tooley played some backer. He's got the opportunity to play some different hybrid roles, as well as maybe a little bit in the secondary as well. And so we're excited about what he's going to bring. We're probably going to be doing the same thing with George Udo. Caleb Christensen is a new name that just he just started with us in the spring. He's going to be a name that you're probably going to see a little bit more. And then Keenan Ellis comes back to us after a year of injury. But Lorenzo Falatea, Bracken O'Backery, Zach Daw, Nisa Mahe are all guys that played last year. They're all coming back. And then some of the newer names that you'll see, Fisher Jackson was a defensive end that made a lot of noise in the spring that is probably going to get a lot of time, as well as Seleti Fevaleaki and Gabe Summers. I think those are all guys that are definitely worthy of getting on here. But the cut-ups really, as I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen, okay. Everybody see that? Okay, so this first one, really, some of these clips are just individual drills. Just wanted to show some of the progress that some of the guys are making. That's Chris Wilcox, who's been out for a year. And so I know a lot of fans will be excited to see him get back on the field again with just one of his reps, taking a one-on-one rep with the receivers. But he's running again. His legs are still a little behind him, but he's going to be fine coming back in the fall camp. We'll be excited to get him back. Okay, Troy here, who missed last year as well, just played 4 games last year and ended up redshirting. We're going to be really excited to get his skills back and his competitiveness. See him in here wearing Fred's old number, but we'll be excited again to get Troy back. Troy will be back with us. Okay. This is D'Lo Mandel, who played for us last year, and you know, the great thing about a lot of these corners that we end up getting is they come back second, third year just so much better than the first two. And so D'Lo's been with us a couple years now, and be excited to get him too, as he's starting to really come along this spring before we started practicing or stopped practicing. Okay, Isaiah Heron, who you saw as well, he redshirted last year, but got some time before some injuries, and is another corner that we're excited about that's really starting to come on, that can really run, just like D'Lo Mandel. Okay, here's Kavika Fonua. I didn't mention before, but Kavika has been one of those guys that we've moved around in different spots. Is going to play some hybrid spots as well as some linebacker, and right here he's playing a hybrid safety spot, and you know, it's just a really good player. Is in the right place at the right time, and excited for him to come back as a senior and as a leader as well. Okay, this some of the clips here are I think these last three clips are just of some team stuff that we have. Really in this clip, just highlighting Kairos. You know, Kairos Tonga is one of the guys that ended up coming back, the left tackle here. And I mean, it was evident in the spring that he's just a difference maker for us. And I mean, getting him back, getting Matt Bushman back, I think is going to be really huge for our team. But when he's in the game on defense, there's definitely a difference that he makes, and we're going to be really excited about him. But he's just a big, strong guy that's starting to play with a lot more confidence than before, and just really knows who and what he is. I mean, it's just really difficult kid to block now, and you see him here rushing on the left, and that's not a small guard he's going against. That's Tree, really big kid that he's just moving around. We're excited.
What weight do you want Kairos playing at this year?
You know, we wanted a 3 and then a 2. And so 329 was the heaviest that we wanted him to be. And he worked his butt off to get himself down to 325 in the spring. You know, I think that when he gets to the next level, he's going to be a kid that they may try at different weights, just because I think he can carry it and still play. But in order for him to stay active and just finish the way that we expect him to finish, he's got to be playing at 329 at the most. And so 325 to 329 is probably what we're going to have him playing at next year. Okay, this clip here is just, you know, as I was buzzing through, really wanted to highlight Keenan Peely here, number 41 at the backer spot. You see Isaiah here as well. This really just shows the athleticism of our backers. I mean, with Peyton Wilgar, with Isaiah, with Keenan, with Ben Bywater, and just some of the guys I'm not mentioning. I mean, just the athleticism, the length, the experience now that we're getting a lot of these guys back for a second year is just really huge for us on defense. And, you know, Keenan here is, you just see the closing speed as he just comes down, and as he's chasing Zach Ato out of the backfield and just completely closes on him and tags off just so easily. I mean, he's a kid that can run, and be excited about all the backers that we've got that have that athleticism that can do that. Okay, and this will be the last clip here. We're, you know, one of the guys that has really been worked hard at his craft, was a quarterback in high school, is the one that's standing out here playing safety. Let me see if I can draw here. Is Hayden Livingston. Hayden Livingston's played a bunch of different positions for us and done a really good job. I'll go ahead and click to the back here. But Hayden's done a really good job. He's not on the screen. He's over here off to the bottom of the screen next to Troy. He ends up coming on, just getting a pick for us and done a really good job. But he's worked hard at his craft, and really excited about what his season can be as he continues to work hard. So just some clips of some of the guys that we've got. Like I said, I didn't add all of them in there, but you know, really excited about that.
Excellent, Heath. Thanks for that. And let's switch it over to Coach Grimes on the offensive side of the ball. I think, Jeff, you picked out a few plays from last season to break down. What do you want to show us?
Yeah, like E, I felt like it'd be a great thing to highlight some of our guys that are coming back. And so let me see if I can make this full screen here. There we go. Okay, so to start with here, I picked 3 plays from 3 different games that highlight some of the guys that are coming back. And, I thought I'd start by talking about the quarterbacks. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterbacks, and I'm no exception when you have guys like this. And, early in the year when we had all these guys healthy, it was a lot of fun to do some different things with Jaron. And so here, we're handing the ball off to Peeny. He's pitching it to Jaron. Jaron throws it back to Zach. And so, it's a unique thing to have a couple of athletic quarterbacks, certainly more than one. And when you've got 3, it's even more unusual. So it's kind of fun to do some of those things when you have some guys who can do some fun things like that on the field. Here's another play from the USC game. I picked this one because it highlights Dax. You'll see him. He's in the slot right here. He's the number 2 receiver out of the 3 up there. So he's right there. And USC's playing a form of man defense here. We call it cover 1. And this guy's got him locked up man. And we like the matchup there. Felt like he could beat him here. And it's a great job by him getting a release off of press coverage. And Zach does a great job throwing the ball where only he can catch it, and Dax comes down with the ball. That was a big-time play right there, and then he flexed in the end zone. That was kind of fun too. But Dax is a real competitor, and, we certainly lose some guys off of our receiving core from this last year, but Dax is a guy that we're looking for great things from. Felt like he had a good season this year and think he'll have an even better season next year. One more play from the USC game here. This is one of our what we call a fastball, 3rd and 6. Great time to catch a defense trying to make a substitution and get guys running off the field and new guys coming on and maybe create some confusion with the play caller. And so we caught them in that position right there and had an opportunity to throw the ball to Matt in the middle of the field. Does a great job right there, avoiding contact by the linebackers. And, Matt's he's a natural ball catcher, does a great job with run after the catch as well. One of the things that you'll see right here is just how the change in tempo right here created a situation where we really didn't get any pass rush at all, creates a favorable pocket, confusion in coverage. And, if you just throw the ball anywhere where Matt can get his fingers on it, he's going to catch it. And then, like I said, he does a great job run after the catch as well. Another play for Matt right here, switching over to the Boise State game. This was a fun play, something that we had actually kind of been talking about and working on for a couple of weeks, but didn't really feel like it was the right time for it. It made it even more fun given the fact that I kind of learned this play from Boise State, or that tree. It's a play that at least in my experience, originated at Boise State. I learned it at Colorado when I was working with Dan Hawkins there, and they had run it when he was at Boise. But when I saw the way that they played short yardage, really aggressive, zero coverage, no deep safety, just felt like it would be a great week for it. And so when this moment came up at 4th and 1, I think everybody on the team knew that we were going to call this play. It's a play where you get a heavy formation, even brought a receiver talent in up top right there to make it look like you're going to run a quarterback sneak or some sort of heavy formation run. Quarterback kind of acts like he fumbles the snap coming out. You see Peeny act like he's looking at the ball, and then everybody comes off to block. Matt simulates a block just long enough to get that safety to take his eyes off of him. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part of this play is when you look at Micah down here at the bottom, you see him, he sees Matt open, and even before the ball's in his hands, he already knows it's a touchdown. But that was a fun play right there, and there was a lot of, like any touchdown, there's a lot of work that goes into the intricate details of it. And one of them right here, you see by Matt, you see him simulate a block and get his pads down really low, just long enough to get the safety to take his eyes off of him. Then does a great job using his hands to get beyond him, and first opportunity here to show Baylor Romney as well. Does a great job with the fake and ends up with an extra guy in his face, but still makes the throw, and big touchdown in that game, obviously.
Great play.
Here's another fun play from that game. I mentioned Sione Finau earlier, so it's an opportunity to highlight him right here, but I want to point out a couple other things as well. First, this is Matt split out here in the slot, and one of the things that's really fun that we enjoy doing with Matt is kind of moving him in different positions. And so here he is split out as a receiver, and everybody knows that Matt's a great receiving tight end, and he alluded to this with the question that was asked earlier. But the thing I'm most proud, and he is a great receiving tight end, probably maybe the best in the country next year. But one of the things that I'm really proud about with him is the way that he's really improved as a blocker, and you see it right here on this play. That was really the block that sprung the touchdown for Sione. One other little thing I'll point out right here. So we start in empty. We motion Sione back into the backfield, forces the defense to adjust. You see them check. This is what we call a freeze option. So it's similar to what a lot of people call speed option. The difference with a freeze option is initially you try to make it look like you're running another play. So Baylor here presents the ball as if it might be a handoff. Sione makes it look like he might be running a zone play this direction. You see the line all blocking to the right as well. And so you get the defense just to hesitate just a little bit. And so it allows the ball carrier here, in this case Sione, to get out in the open field, and he does a great job. He's got great vision and does a great job exploding and making people miss at that second level. One more play from this Boise State game that I think highlights a couple of things. First, you see a little fly sweep fake right here to Aleva, and that's one of the things that we really like, and we appreciate the misdirection that it gives. And so you see the right side of the screen right here, how it really impacts them and forces them to slow down a little bit. The next thing I'll point out is just this is a great opportunity to talk about our offensive line. In this game right here, we've got two true freshmen starting. Blake Freeland at right tackle, Clark Barrington at left guard. And then we've got James Empey and Brady Christensen, probably our two most decorated guys, even in this particular game here. They were just sophomores, but have gotten a lot of accolades. And then Chandon Herring, who's played a lot of positions for us, tackle and guard, playing right guard here, and does a great job just taking his defender and moving him out of the way. And then another guy that'll be back for us next year, Lupini Katoa here, shows his speed, avoiding the backside pursuit, and then good vision to stick his foot in the ground and make a vertical cut and get in the end zone. The last thing I'll point out here again is Matt on the backside. This is a really challenging block. If you haven't ever tried to do that, you may not know how hard this really is, but the defense is blitzing from the right, which means the defensive end he's trying to block is responsible for pinching inside. And really, you shouldn't be able to win that block very often, but Matt takes a great first step and just really through sheer desire just holds on to the guy long enough for us to get the ball past him. And so a lot of things came together to make that play successful. So I'm going to move on now with a couple of plays from the Utah State game. This was one of my favorite wins from last year as well, just because of how poorly I felt like we had performed the year before, and this being an in-state rival, it was a lot of fun. So this play right here, this is another opportunity to show Jaron his athleticism. This particular play is one of our dash concepts, which is somewhat like sprint out. So you see him sprinting out to his left and making a throw back across his body. A couple of little things I'll point out from this vantage point. You see him set the rush first, and simulate a straight drop back. What that does is that causes the defense to kind of settle in the pocket rather than try to work to get contained. Nice job over here on the left side by Brady, again, the left tackle. Nice job by Lopini sealing the edge. You see Jaron roll out to his left and then come back and throw the ball back over a defender with his right hand on the run. Something you see from some of the best athletes in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes and some of those guys do this sort of thing. But I just say there aren't a whole lot of guys who can do that right there. Just a phenomenal athletic play. And then great job by Dax here. I'll point him out one more time right here. Making a block to help Aleva get that extra yard and get a first down. This was 3rd and 12 right there, and that was a big play in the game. Another young guy that's featured on this play right here is Gunnar Romney, who's playing the X receiver up top right there on the 20. This is a play that's an RPO, so really the quarterback here has the option to do a number of different things. He could hand it off. He could throw the ball out here to the field. We've got what we call a China concept going, which is an outside hitch by Talon, an inside fade by the slot receiver. Or we've got a skinny post, a glance route being run by the X receiver. And so if the defense loads the box, which they do right here, they've got 7 defenders in the box. We've got 6 blockers. Then it should give us an advantageous throw look somewhere. The defense rolls the coverage strong. The corner plays soft over there. So it really gives you a nice throwing window to the glance. And so there's a lot of things that go into that play. And Jaron did a great job reading it, faking the run, and then making the throw on time. And then obviously Gunnar making a nice hand catch right there. One that a lot of guys might feel like is a routine catch, but that's a bang throw and catch. So a nice job by Gunnar, another guy that we're very excited about as we move forward with this offense next year. One more run play right here, and just I'll point out a couple of things. Again, it's Peeny running the football. This is an RPO as well. On this particular one, Jaron handed it off and then fakes the throw, holds the backside just a little bit. You see our lineman pulling. We feel like we've got athletic linemen. What really gets this play started, though, again, is Matt playing tight end right here. You see him jab a 9 technique and then ends up getting up to the linebacker and does a great job blocking him. Peeny sets up the blocks, and we end up having a big gain on it. And so – there are a number of other guys that I could certainly talk about in this offense that's coming forward. But for the first time since I've been here, we'll have mostly upperclassmen playing with this group. We got a couple of young guys that we're excited about, as I mentioned in the offensive line. A couple of young guys. We got a couple of young tight ends we're excited about too. But really, we've got more experience coming back than we have had at any time since I've been here, and I think more overall talent too. So really excited about the personnel and to be in our 3rd year in the system. I think every year the players learn a little bit more, but we as coaches learn a little bit more too. And I think me and all the other offensive coaches know these guys a little bit more than we ever have before, and feel great about the way that we're going to allow them to play their style of game and utilize their strengths.
Coach Grimes, Coach Tuiaki, great video breakdown. Thank you for that. Let's stick with Jeff for a second. Back to fan questions, and we'll finish our Zoom session with fan Q&A. Got a bunch of questions, and we'll try and get as many as we can before we drop off with you. Coach Grimes, what factors will go into a determination of who will start at QB this year, considering Wilson, Hall, and Romney have all had strong showings in this past season especially?
Same as any competition. Every guy on our team has to earn his spot. That's something Coach Satake has been firm about since I've been here, and that's regardless of the position, regardless of the experience, we're going to play the best players, and those guys will have to prove that on the field. And whether you're talking about the guy who's starting at left guard or the guy who's starting at quarterback, the same process goes into all of it. And, I just feel really, really fortunate to be on a team where we have this many guys who can play quarterback, as well as some young guys joining the program. I've been on a lot of teams where we didn't have any quarterback as talented as some of the guys we have, much less 2 or 3.
Okay, for Matt and for Isaiah, if you didn't play your current position, what other position would you excel at? This question comes in from Brett Kearns.
Oof. My freshman year of high school, and I got brought up my sophomore year to varsity to play quarterback. So I think I could sling it if it was necessary.
I don't know. I've seen him throw, and I don't know, man, a little suspect. But honestly, I think I'd be a long snapper. Long snap. My dad kind of, had me long snapping in the front yard, and then sophomore year of high school threw me in and said, "All right, you're the long snapper." So have some experience there, and just being able to run down and cover some space. I think I'd be a good long snapper.
Okay, from Weston Port, this question is in, and we'll give this for Coach Sitake and then for Coaches Tuiaki and Grimes. Which young guy coming in are you most excited about, or young guys coming in?
Well, I'm excited about all of them, but I am really excited about the guys that are returning that have experience. So I think he talked about a couple of them in the defensive backfield, Chris Wilcox and Troy Warner, right? And they've been doing a great job on the field, but it's the things that they're doing as leaders, and them working with Isaiah and Matt Bushman with our players has been awesome to watch as a head coach, and our team will go as far as our leadership takes them, and I've been really impressed with these guys, and the fact that Matt and Kyrus decided to come back this year, and they came back with a vision. It wasn't just to come back and play another year of football. It was to get some things accomplished, and so I've been really impressed with them. And I think the young guys coming into it's hard to skip over the guys that we have currently on the roster and go immediately to the young guys that are coming in. A lot of them are unproven, but we're going to give them a chance to prove themselves, and they have a unique talent that they're bringing to the table that we'll be able to utilize. And so there's things that I know Coach Tuiaki and Coach Grimes are excited to get going, and they're scheming around that young talent, but also the foundation is built on the returning players that we have currently on our roster.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Coach Itake on that. There's a lot of good young talent that we're excited about, but we really, really like our team. I love the defense right now. I think that we're deep. I think that we've got a lot of experience. We've got some big boys up front. We've got some speed. We've got some lengthy backers, and I think it's really, really coming together defensively to just cause a lot of excitement for the fans, because I know for sure that the coaching staff is excited. I know players, Isaiah and all the boys that are continuing to work on their own are really excited too. They know that we've got something special going. So it's hard to pick a young guy. We're excited about them all, but I think the team in general is something to be excited about.
I'd echo those sentiments. Rather than pick one guy, I'd pick one position that I'm excited about our youth at is tight end. And, Matt's done a great job being a leader in that group, but we've got some young guys coming in here that I think have phenomenal talent. When you look at Isaac Rex, Carter Wheat, Mason Wake, Hank Tuipulotu, just to name a few, and a couple others that haven't even been here yet. I think we've got some young tight ends that's really going to allow us to play a little bit more 12 personnel than we did last year and give us the opportunity to move those guys around even more. And when we have the potential to put 2 tight ends on the field, then it forces the defense to have to deal with a lot of different things. They have the potential for 8 gaps that they have to defend against the run. And when they're athletic guys like Matt and a couple of the other guys that I mentioned, who you can also split out and use as a wide receiver and create mismatches that way, then they've got to still be able to defend 4 wides or even empty formations. So I'm excited about the youth at tight end.
Thanks, coaches. Josh Zent with a question for the players. As a high school football player, he asks, how do I balance prepping for a mission and prepping for my football career?
That's a good question. I would just say, just work as hard as you can while you're in high school. Just work your craft, try to be the best player that you can, but also if you have desires to go on a mission, just make sure you're doing the right thing so that you can be prepared and go out there. And then when you come back, like when you're on your mission, don't worry about it. yes, try to stay in shape as good as you can, but the things that you're doing for those 2 years, I think will be a blessing in the end. So if you have a chance to play sports afterwards, after your mission, then everything will fall into place.
Yeah, I really believe that when we put the Lord first and when we, follow the commandments and when we follow, our Savior Jesus Christ, then we'll be blessed. So my advice as you prepare, and you're trying to balance, your schoolwork, you're trying to balance, mission prep, and you're trying to balance, your football career and your future is I've always just believed, when you put the Lord first, then he'll bless you in many ways. And so, my mission was one of the most sacred experiences that I've had. And I've seen the blessings, I've reaped the blessings now, and very, very grateful for the mission. And so I'd encourage, all of you guys out there, put the Lord first, and good things will happen.
Thank you, guys. From Josh Warnock, question for Coach Grimes. What are some good O-line drills to get stronger? And for Coach Tuiaki, good defensive end drills to work on speed and using hands?
Well, I would say if you're looking for strength drills in the offensive line, it starts with the basics: squat, deadlift, clean. Get in a rack, and if it's a young guy that's working, as I tell my sons all the time, get your technique right first. Really focus on getting your flexibility right and getting to the right depth, and you can't spend too much time working those base fundamental lifts of a squat, a deadlift, and a power clean.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. If you're in the trenches, can't emphasize enough how important it is to get in the weight room and make sure that you've got a trainer that's helping you out, because you want to make sure that you're lifting the right way. But it's about being strong. It's about being confident, and that all starts in the weight room when you're an O lineman or a D lineman. I had an old NFL coach that was the one that really had the biggest influence on me in coaching defensive linemen, and he wasn't really hung up on any specific drill. He always taught that you just need to identify the skill that you need to improve, create a drill. There's no such thing as a wrong drill, as long as that drill is tailored to get you better at the skill that you've identified, and then just repeat it over and over and over and over. And so identify a skill, create a drill, and then just repeat it. Keep doing it. But get strong in the weight room, I think, is one of the deals. And a lot of these NFL guys, I mean, even after they get to the NFL, you see them trying different art forms to improve, their technique and just their hand speed and all that. And so boxing is one of the things that a lot of the D linemen are starting to go to. Boxing, kickboxing has been really good for a lot of those guys. Their hand-eye coordination, as well as just the speed of their hands. And so that might be something also that you try out is doing a little bit of MMA. Be good for you.
Well, guys, we budgeted roughly a half hour for the Zoom call, maybe 45 minutes. We've gone an hour, so we're going to wrap it, and let's do it this way. We'll ask.
We can go forever. We can go 2 hours if you want us to, Greg.
We can take, there are a ton more questions than we even got to, believe me. Well, let's do this. It's already been a unique year, right? 2020 has already been unique, and it's going to be a unique season one way or the other. What do each of you hope the BYU program gets out of 2020 in whatever fashion it ends up looking like once we get going here? Maybe we'll go with Isaiah, Matt, then to Jeff, E, and Kalani. If you could maybe put into words what you hope 2020 means for BYU football.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, with not a lot of time to really think about it, there's a very surface level answer, but Kalani kind of had mentioned it with Matt and Kairos coming back. There are, there's a vision amongst the players and a vision really amongst the coaches, and a lot of goals that have been made, and, just really excited to accomplish those goals, to really check off, the goals that we've written down, to check those off. There's a lot of things that we've thought about, a lot of things that we've kind of thrown out, but we're really, really excited to just, have a very successful season, to accomplish our goals, whether those are personal or team goals. But Very surface level answer with not a lot of time to think about it, but.
Yeah, I mean, to go along with what Isaiah said, I agree. And I would just say, for me and what a lot of guys have talked about and what the coaches, like, we're just tired of falling back into mediocre seasons. I mean, we want to be great. We want to be a program that stands out and that can compete with the best. So no matter what happens with the season, we're hoping we get every game and we get all the fans there to be there with us and experience this great season. Yeah, we're sick and tired of being mediocre, and we want to be great and win some big time football games and just play with the best. So we have goals, we have personal goals, we have team goals, offensive and defensive goals, and we want to accomplish all that we can. And I think we are definitely more motivated than ever right now.
Yeah, I would just say I hope that we can do those things more consistently. I think we've shown here that we can play with anybody. When we're on, we can play with anybody around. We just need to be on more consistently. And so I think that our experience will have something to do with that. I think our resiliency and toughness will have something to do with that as well. And I just hope that we show, and I think we will show, that we can do that on a more consistent basis this season.
Yeah, I think a lot like how some of these players that get hurt and miss a whole season, you get football taken away from you, something that's just really dear to you, the opportunity to compete, you get it taken away from you, and you just start to really see things in a different light. You start to see things that maybe you would have taken for granted. And so with our season, just being on the brink and all this conference on this all this talk about maybe not having a season, but then now having a season. I mean, I think the whole team, the staff, the team, first of all, we have a really good team, really, really excited about the team, but it's a team that's coming back and almost like an injured player that feels like football is being taken away from us. And we're just so stoked to just get back on track and just get back to doing our deal, as well as having the opportunity to compete, like the players and Coach Grimes talked about. And I mean, beating Utah, I mean, I'm going to say it. I can't wait. These guys have been eluding us, and we're going to give it to them this year. I can't wait. That game can't come soon enough. We're going to beat them this year.
Well, just want to thank everybody for being here. And I just want to say, I think everyone's, whether it's Matt, Isaiah, Grimey, or E, said it all. We are we're excited as a team. Back in when the bowl game ended, we already had thoughts of what we wanted to get done. And talking to myself and the coaches, talking to a lot of the guys, the returners on our team, the veterans, we had goals and we have visions, and they could be personal, but they're all built on great intentions, but that's the only good thing about intentions is where you start. So the good intention, the great intentions that we have are there. We started that, but even throughout all the way to the spring ball, we were accomplishing all our goals. We were on the path of getting to where we need to be. And I can honestly say the quarantine and the COVID-19 has not stopped that from going forward. All it's been is adjustments. And I talked to all the fans that are here on the Zoom call. We are people of transition and adjustments. And so the players have been amazing. And I'm saying this because I'm honored to be coaching these young men, because they have goals and nothing stopped them. Whether it's finding a different way to work out and talking to the coaches. Our players, I have a lot of confidence that they're actually out working a lot of other places. Other places are panicking because they're worried about trying to get their guys training, get them in shape. And we feel really confident with the guys that are there and the responsibility that they hold for themselves, but also to each other. The love that they share with each other is amazing. And the expectations that our fans have of these young men and this team and myself and our coaches, we're excited for it, and I would just acknowledge everyone to just stay positive. I know there's all these talks of things being taken away from us, but I'm going to be optimistic and think that this is going to be, there's a reason for all of it. And I've been really proud of basically all mankind and how they've been able to adjust to during these times. And we will thrive. We'll persevere through all of it. And BYU football will be stronger than ever. And I'm really excited about that. And I've seen it with my own eyes at this date in May, that our players are stronger now and a closer unit now than they were last year. That's a great feeling for me, and that's why these guys want to get to that first game and want to get to the entire season, because I've been really impressed, just like Coach Tuyaki and Coach Grimes, been really impressed with these young men. And so looking forward to the season, but I'm looking forward to more Zoom calls and hanging out and being able to make all the Cougars smile and be happy. So thank you so much, Greg, for having us available to the fans, and we can't wait to get out there and hug all you guys. Thank you so much for your support. We love you. We feel your prayers and your desire for us to have success. And I hope you're proud of the way these young men perform on and off the field and the wonderful things that they're doing. So thank you so much, Greg. Go Cougs.
And as we say so long, a brief thank you to our behind-the-scenes contributors today, Braden Woodall, BYU Football's video coordinator, David Almadova and Jordan Blad with BYU Athletic Marketing, the entire marketing team putting together a great week for BYU fans in all kinds of platforms and all kinds of ways. And to Isaiah and Matt, and thanks for taking the time. Appreciate your contributions on the field, leadership on and off. Great to see you. Coach Grimes, with or without a beard, always looking good. And appreciate your insight. Coach Tuiaki, you're so kind. And now you help me do my job better. And Kalani, getting to know you as a player all those many years ago, through your days as a head coach, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Hey, Greg, you're the voice of the Cougs, man. You're the guy, so we love you. And whatever bird sanctuary Matt Bushman's at, I mean, I gotta check this out, because all I can hear is birds chirping in the background. That was pretty impressive. Yeah, nice, but Greg, you are awesome. We love you, and BYU sports could never be without Greg Wrubell. You do a great job. Thank you so much.
No, you're too kind. Thanks to you all, and everyone stay safe, be well, and go Cougs. Take care.
Go Cougs.
You guys, go Cougs.
Go Cougars.